Hi there, neighbor. Doomwaves here. Another pickup video. It's my second try on this one. Hopefully this is not as blurry as the last one was. I'm recording this on my iPhone and it sucks. So I'm sorry if it is blurry again. Try to get that worked out. Trying to work on getting another digital camera. But anyway, had a pretty eventful weekend. Labor Day weekend. Got quite a bit of stuff actually. Spent Saturday at a flea market and a bunch of garage sales locally, and I found some good stuff. Only one game though, but I found a lot of other etc. Found a bunch of vinyl and yeah, a lot of stuff. So we'll start off with the one game that I did find this at the flea market, and it's a great game. Well, I hope it's a great game. Never played it before. It's a game that I've been wanting for a while. It's a PlayStation 2 game. There really wasn't much for games at the flea market. It was kind of an antiques flea market, but there was several vendors there that just had a bunch of crap. And one of them had some PlayStation 2 games. Most of them were just crap sports titles and other things that I had no interest in. But I was interested in this one. They wanted $3 for it, but I noticed the disc is pretty scratched up, and there's a small crack in the ring of the disc, so I'm not even sure it's going to work, and I actually can't test it right now because my PS2 doesn't work. So I bought it anyway, though. It's Final Fantasy 12, and it is black labeled, but it is not complete. So, I mean, was it worth $2? Yeah. If it works, it was worth $2. Of course, if it doesn't work, the case with no manual is not worth a whole lot to me. But, so yeah, that was the only game I found at the flea market. There were some other ones. I had a Gran Turismo 2 for the PS1, but it was like $5, and I don't even know if I would play it or not. I might, I don't know, but it wasn't worth $5 for me to not play it. I also picked up a new turntable at the flea market. That's actually running right now. I've got some great music on it. It's Techniques. It's got a matching tape deck that came with it. I spent $5 for the pair, so it's a pretty good deal if you ask me. But I also got a ton of vinyl at both the flea market, well, 3 places actually. Flea market, the garage sales, and also another local kind of junk store who has the occasional nice find. He's got some video games in there too, but he's asking way too much for them. So there's like one N64 game in there, and it's like a football title. They're just kind of trying to sell it for like $5, and I'm like, no. But yeah, I've got pretty eclectic music taste, which pretty heavy in the older music. I love newer music too, but obviously all of these vinyl are really old classics. For instance, I've got the Tennessee Ernie Ford Deluxe set. It's he sings country hymns. What can I say? I'm a fan. I like old country hymns. I like old country. Here's one of my favorite old country artists, Mr. Roy Clark. Picked that up. Tennessee Ernie Ford was $1 for the three records, which was great. This one was $1 also. I've got The Country Way, Charlie Pride was $1. Probably can't even see these. The Country Way, Charlie Pride. And I got Ronnie Millsap Live. That was $1. So far we're still in the dollar ones. And then this is the last dollar one. It's Carole King's Tapestry. This is my mom's favorite record of all time, and so I grew up kind of listening to it, and so I'm a fan. Carole King Tapestry, it was $1. Now these I bought at a garage sale for $0.25 a piece, which was great deal for what they are. The least of which is Boston. I'm only a moderate Boston fan, but I'm a big fan of old country and like 70s progressive rock, which is what you're listening to right now. I spent a whole quarter on this one, Ramones. There's only like one song on here that I know. It's End of the Century. I know Rock and Roll High School on this one, but I'm not going to not buy a Ramones record for a quarter. Here's a double album. It's Hank Williams' Great Hits, Hank Sr. I'm a Hank Sr. fan. Not a Junior fan. I like Hank 3 though. He's good. Blood, Sweat and Tears, Johnny Cash and the Carter Family. I love Johnny Cash. And here's my favorite 3. One of which we're listening to. I found these at the local junk store, and they were $1.50 a piece. They were marked at $3 a piece, but I'm kind of chatty with the owner, so he gave them to me half off. Gave them to me for $1.50. He's kind of a cool dude, a collector like me, but to the max. It's Todd Rundgren's Utopia, and this one is Adventures in Utopia. And another Live Utopia. And then the one we're listening to has quickly become one of my favorite records of all time. It is just Todd Rundgren's Utopia. That's the one we're listening to right now, and it is just fantastic. Right in the vein of like King Crimson and Yes, and some Rush stuff, and I dig it. I mean, that's kind of, especially with vinyl, that's really what I'm collecting for, is that 70s progressive rock kind of stuff, because there was a lot of it, and I'm a big fan of it. I have a lot of it on CD and cassette, and yeah, I'd like to collect a bunch of vinyl and 8 tracks of that stuff, because yeah, there's a lot of it to be had, and I'm a big fan. So we'll move on to some other pickups I got. Another guy at the flea market. One place where I bought one of the vinyls. I bought the Carole King vinyl there. Kind of a cool dude. Seemed to be traveling to different flea markets and stuff. He had a lot of rock and roll memorabilia and things like that. He had some guitars, he had some signed photographs, and a couple crates of vinyl that I looked through. And he had a lot of other stuff too. But I was wearing a Marvel T-shirt, and he asked me if I was interested in comic books, and I said absolutely. And he had said he sold most of his comics, but he did have this packet of comics that he got for being a vendor at this year's Comic-Con. And so he had $5 marked on it, I mean, because they were all free comics that were given to him at the Comic-Con, so that there's somewhat collectible value. I mean, there's no value to it, but collectible value there is, I think, probably, but I could be totally wrong there. But it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not going to sell them. I just like to have them. He had $5 marked on it. I wasn't really going to pay $5. I considered it, but I wasn't sure. But he said right away, before I even said anything, you know, as soon as he handed it to me, he said, "But I'm only going to make you pay $3 for it." I was like, okay. And then I noticed that there was a lot of moisture in the air. I mean, it didn't rain, but there was a lot of dew, and they had left the stuff out overnight. So some of the stuff got wet, and this did not escape the wetness. I noticed the back of it was really wet. I mean, it was in a plastic bag with a piece of cardboard in it. Some moisture had got in there, and I asked about it. He's like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll take off another $1." I wasn't even asking the guy to go down in price. I probably still would have paid the $3. But so I got this for only $2. And one of them is the Avengers versus X-Men program guide. It's kind of a preview to what's going to be happening in that series, which was cool. This one's a Vertigo Review 2012. It's got some previews of different comics. There's lots of zombies and strange naked baby aliens. Kind of weird, but okay, cool. This is a season 1 guide for Marvel. Marvel apparently this year did some origin type comics, telling how the series started. It's got a preview of Spider-Man, Daredevil, X-Men, and the Fantastic Four, so that's pretty cool. And this is probably the best one, or at least my favorite of the series, of the books that I got from them. It's a free copy, Marvel #1 of the Avengers. So that was kind of cool. And this is the one that really, the only one that got damaged because of the wetness. And it's kind of a bummer, but because this is actually one of the complete comics. The other 3 are just previews, besides the Avengers one, and it's the Ultimate Spider-Man, and it does have quite a bit of water damage, so any value that this might have had is gone, but that's alright. I'm going to bag it and board it, stick it in my still very infant comic collection, so in the drawer they go. Alright, now let's move on to some, that's all I got at flea markets, so let's move on. I always have an itchy head when I'm recording these videos. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, I itch my head all the time. I don't understand it either, sorry. I picked up several games at Vintage Stock in the city this weekend, yesterday namely. Had a sale going on for Labor Day weekend. It was buy 2 get 1 free. So the wife and I finagled it so where we made 3 different purchases and tried to get the more expensive ones for free. I ended up getting 9 games. The first 3 I'll show you. These were I just wanted these, and so I just did an individual purchase with these, so it wouldn't. I'm pretty sure they make you take the cheapest one for free. So I tried to put the expensive ones together and the cheap ones together. So anyway, this is how it worked out. First off, we have Frogs and Flies for the Atari 2600 and one of these retarded shaped carts. I don't like these carts, but this is a great game. We had it when I was a kid, and I don't know, it's just fun to play. You just jump from lily pad to lily pad, catching flies. But it's a 2-player game, and it's fun. Next, I got the original Breakout for the Atari 2600. Now, this is an extremely common game, and it definitely wasn't worth the $1.99 price tag on it. All 3 of these games were $1.99, but because I could find it for cheaper, I'm sure online, but with shipping and having to wait for it, it was beneficial for me, I guess, to just go ahead and get it in the sale that they had, because I wanted it. I have Super Breakout. I'm a big fan of Super Breakout. I don't know what it is about Super Breakout. It's just really awesome. I just love to play it. I play it all the time on my phone. I have the Atari app for the iPhone. I play it all the time. Anyway, and then the final Atari 2600 game I got is a shoot 'em up that I am now a fan of. I hadn't played it before today, actually. But I had heard a lot about it, and I had seen some videos, people talking about their favorite Atari 2600 shoot-em-ups, and Vanguard made some of the lists. So I decided, hey, $1.50 or $1.99, buy 2 get 1 free. So I spent $4 and got 3 Atari 2600 games, and Vanguard was the one I was really wanting. So got that. Okay, moving on here. The next stack I got here. Let's save those 2 for last. 2 more stacks here, 6 more games. I don't really know how we broke it out, but I'm going to save those 2 for last because those are my favorites. I picked up Gradius 3 for the Super Nintendo. So from what I've heard, it's a really good shoot 'em up. I'm a fan of shoot 'em ups, and I'd like to collect some more for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I like them. This is a game that I used to have for the original Xbox, and I don't remember how I traded it to a guy for my copy of Pokemon gold, and he gave me this game. And we weren't really gonna keep each other's games, but it ended up that way. And then I graduated from high school, and then he never gave it back, and I never gave his back. But then I ended up giving this game, to someone else, so I don't have it anymore. But I wish I had kept it, and I wish I had played it more when I had it, because I probably wouldn't have given it away. It's Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I've heard really great things about this game. I'm a huge RPG guy, so I was glad to find a copy of this. I was like priced at like $12, and it is complete. I guess I should mention that. It is complete, Black Label. So, Morrowind. And then I got a couple of PSP games. I don't actually have a PSP yet, but I'm getting one in a trade that I did with someone on Atari Age. That's another pickup video. But now you know that I'm getting a PSP out of it. I'm not going to tell you anything else that I got with it. But I'll tell you what I didn't get with it is I didn't get any PSP games. Just the system itself. I traded my Super Nintendo that I got in my last pickup video. Traded it, and a couple of those games that came with it, the Mario All Stars and the Dr. Mario Tetris game for the PSP system. It was a good trade to me. I don't know who ended up on the up on that. That doesn't matter because I wanted a PSP and I didn't need a second Super Nintendo system, so it was a good trade. But really excited about both of these PSP games. Overly excited probably, but yeah, they were totally worth it. This was the more expensive of the two, but I'm more excited of the other one, so I'll show this one first. It's Final Fantasy IV for the PSP, and it's Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy IV The After Years. So it's kind of a compilation of Final Fantasy IV, which, as most people know, is the same as Final Fantasy II on the Super Nintendo. I'm kind of ignorant, so I don't know about all those things. I mean, I know them now, but gosh, it's so hard to follow for the average gamer like myself who's just starting to collect, within the last year. I don't know. Retro gaming, I know, has made a huge spike, and that annoys some people, and I'm sorry. I've always kind of wanted to get into retro gaming. I've had an Atari 7800 and an NES for a long time, and always picked up games off and on, but yeah. But most of this has been within the last year. But it is complete. It does have the manual and everything. So yeah, very excited to have this. But I'm more excited to have this one. Now, this is Final Fantasy II for the PSP. I didn't know that when I was playing Dawn of Souls for the Game Boy Advance, that the Final Fantasy II that exists on there is this Final Fantasy II, is the real Final Fantasy II, and not the Final Fantasy II that was on the Super Nintendo. I didn't know that at the time, but now I do, and it's weird because this is actually pretty close to being my favorite Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy X still has it, but Final Fantasy II is really awesome. I really liked it a lot. I played it on Game Boy Advance. I didn't actually even beat it. I got close to the end. I got stuck on one of the bosses in like the last dungeon, and I couldn't beat him. And then I let somebody borrow the game, and it's long gone. But now I have it again for the PSP, hoping that the gameplay is, pretty similar or the same. Yeah, because I really, really liked Final Fantasy II and Dawn of Souls. And here's the last two, and these are the two that I was probably most excited about. Actually, I was more excited about Final Fantasy II than the first one I'm going to show you here, but I'm a huge id Software guy, huge Square Enix guy too, so I mean it doesn't really matter. Those are my two favorite companies probably. But I was really excited to get this game. I don't have this one on any other platform yet, but I plan on getting it. It is Quake 2. Played it this morning quite a bit. It's really awesome. I really like it. I actually like this one so far a lot better than Quake 1 for the N64. Both good, both excellent, but so far Quake 2 is a better game on the N64, and rightfully so. I mean, really, as far as games go, sequels should improve. You know, I don't know. But this last one, the game I was most excited to get, and very happy to have this to my collection finally. It's a good game that's kind of eluded me for a while, and it's actually the top game on my list. And it's not rare at all, really. I don't think. It was only $10, and I don't think I mentioned Final Fantasy II was $8, and Quake 2 was $10. And this one was $10. Another N64 game, and it is Doom 64. And I know it's just Doom, but I'm a fanatic, a Doom fanatic, and an id Software guy. So I was really excited to have this. I am really excited to have this. Doom 64 is one of those games that I've been watching videos on for a while, and watching gameplay videos just because I want to play it so badly. So I've been watching videos of playthroughs and things, and I've tried to download some emulators, and I've got them downloaded, but I'm impatient and I couldn't get them figured out how to actually run it. So it's eluded me until now. So yeah, I finally got Doom 64 for the Nintendo 64. Very, very stoked to have this. I'm doubting it'll be like my favorite game of all time, this specific one, but I really like having it, I guess. I'd really like to have the box for this one, actually. I'm not really a box game collector, per se. I had 2 back there. X-Men and Galaga. I mean, that's just because this is the way I got them. The Galaga I ordered on eBay a long time ago, right after I got a Atari 7800, and I didn't even know that it was boxed. It was only like $8, and it came in the box, and I didn't care. I had the box tucked away in storage, and when I started getting into collecting, I pulled it out, and it was all crushed. So, I mean, it's still not in the greatest shape, but I've got it at least to where it can stand up on the shelf. And the X-Men is a horrible game. It's an LJN title. But, I mean, it was $4 with the box, so I was like, okay. And I'm a big Marvel fan anyway, so huge X-Men fan, so it's worth it to me, worth the $4 to have the box sitting on the shelf, even if the game does suck and I don't ever play it again. But that's all I got to show you for now. I will have some pickup videos coming up in the very near future. Got a couple of packages coming, both from guys on Atari Age. One of them is also a YouTuber. Bought some games from him and then made a trade with another one, and that's more of the PSP's coming from. And I traded him some other things. I traded him a bunch of stuff that I needed to purge out of my collection just because, and it was to his benefit, I guess. He wanted them, so he's trading me some games in that PSP. So have those coming up probably this week sometime, and another package, like I said, from a YouTuber and Atari Age member. And other than that, that's all I got for now. So thanks for tuning in. Doom Waves out.